Uh-oh, Death Grips Arcade. $10. I'm 100% a real thing, I promise. Oh, thank you for the donation. Thank you so much. Thank you for that donation. Death Grips Arcade. Let me talk about this. So, because this is a bit of a story. Death Grips Arcade refers to, so there's an arcade out there. We have, the United States doesn't really have a whole lot in terms of, like, monumental accomplishments in life or anything like that. Like, let's face it, the United States as it is a jumbled mess. Even before everything that's going on right now, the United States never really had any true achievements that it could accomplish, that it could say that it did.
Pissing our pants.
But it does have one thing, and it's that we have the world's largest arcade, which is known as Galloping Ghost over in Brookfield, Illinois. As of now, I think it has like 740 something arcade games. It might be more than that now, but I don't know. That's just the last number I heard a week or two ago, because they're still constantly adding new games. But they got most of the stuff. Like, they don't have the games like at Chuck E. Cheese where you win things. They have like the actual games. Like, they'll have like Tekken 4 and Tekken Tag 1 and all that, for example. And so what happened was I went there. And I went there with a couple of college friends. I told them about the place, and we all took a bit of a road trip at the beginning of last semester. And then after that, I was telling all my other friends about it. So Luke here in chat, we were talking about it was like a number of months after it, and we were going out for a dinner to some pizza place. We went to Pizza King. That's right. I don't care if I'm losing, by the way. I'm just talking about this, but we're leaving the Pizza King. And we have our other friend Tim, who was in some of the other streams before, with like Street Fighter and all that. And we were talking about Galloping Ghost, about a bunch of the games that they had. I was like, yeah, guys, they got CVS 2. They got they didn't have Metal Gear Arcade and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, but they did have Death Grips Arcade. Oh man, this connection's so bad. They had Death Grips Arcade. I said that they had Death Grips Arcade, and they believed me for like half a second. And I was able to tell them somewhat, as in like what the game was about and everything, before they realized that I was actually... Oh no, that's right. Tim believed us. Tim believed that there's... I think if I remember right, Luke, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tim was the one who believed that there's a Death Grips Arcade. And we were both like, yeah, there really is a Death Grips Arcade game. And Tim believed us for a good while until we started laughing about it. Like, it was like a complete joke. A game that doesn't actually exist. Yeah, Tim believed that Death Grips Arcade was a real thing. And if you know about Death Grips, I mean, you know about Death Grips. So yeah, we told Tim that Death Grips Arcade was a real thing, a real game, and Tim believed us for a good while.
Get ready for the next.
Yeah, he was like, "Wait, really? That's a thing?" And because the other thing about Tim is that Tim always tells his sort of like, "Screw you, we screw you." I was joking, sort of like stories and stuff. Or like punchlines that you don't realize are really jokes until it's already like happened and you believed it. And so I got back at him for that because up to that point I couldn't ever think of anything creatively whenever we were hanging out. But then I figured, wait a minute, yeah, they have like a Michael Jackson game and stuff like that, and I think there's an Aerosmith game that exists. I'm sure that a Death Grips game could exist if I make him believe enough.
Round 1. Fight. Not cool.
So right before I took my stream hiatus, Tim helped me out with moving my dorm things out of Purdue, and on the way, so it's about a 2.5 hour drive, and we were just having a bunch of conversations, and we were talking about the place again because of the fact that it's been closed in the midst of the pandemic. And I was like, man, I want to go back. They've been adding new games, like they added the JoJo fighting game right after I left. They added the Muse arcade game based on the band, the Muse. And I was like, yeah, you play at the concert. And he believed it. He believed that one for like half a second. He was smarter that time. He knew my bullshit. But it was still funny to see him initially believe me that it was that the Muse arcade game was the real thing.